Hello YouTube, I'm Pika and welcome to my channel. Normally I post compilations and highlight videos, but today I wanted to do something a little different. I will be sharing with you a game I played on the PTB as the new killer, the Alien. Now this is a really exciting chapter because we're getting the Xenomorph from the movie Alien. Everything about this chapter so far has been really cool. There's been so much attention to detail. The mechanics are so interesting and fresh. This was a game on Midwich. I didn't exactly have a lot of perks to work with in this match, so a lot of it was about exploring his power, the mechanics of his abilities, and just overall how he felt as a killer. I hope you enjoy the video. Unfortunately, a few minutes in, I realized that I was not recording, so I had to stop for a second and do that. And in doing so, I did lose 2 survivors, so from there, I began to explore the tunnel system, which is really cool. Now, it's similar in a way to Demo, but instead of teleporting, you go into an underground tunnel system, and you burrow through it and move through it really quickly, and it helps you traverse the map, which is really cool. Around this point, I heard a injured Ripley and decided to explore, and I realized she went into that locker. Now, this grab animation is really cool because he uses the tail to stab and then just grabs the character out of the locker, so that was really neat to see. I get my first hook after the first gem pops, and I get my first stack of Grim Embrace. I also see the Nicolas Cage there, and I thought that might have been one of my perks, but looking back now, I think that was actually Object of Obsession. That allowed me to see him. So I quickly make my way over there and get attacked by a turret. It knocked me out of my power. These turrets were surprisingly strong. The stagger on them was a bit surprising. So I go down the hallway towards where I saw the Nicolas Cage. I get hit by another turret, and then I try to follow the survivor that was just here a second ago. I fall through the classroom, see the Ellen, and then another one appears, so I decide to go after the one that I caught off guard. Unfortunately, I got stuck on that swing there, but I managed to get a hit on Ripley. Now, here I was thinking I would try to cut off that Ripley, the one that I had just hit, but I ended up going to the wrong portal. So it kind of backfired on me there, but the map traversal is still huge. It lets you cover a lot of distance in such little time, and it lets you get back into your power, which lets you use the tail strike, which is really strong. It's like a more precise Nemesis tentacle strike. And here I find one of the injured Ripleys. She was slowed down because she was carrying a turret, which was lucky for me. And that allowed me to get the down and get the next hook, which was my next Grim Embrace stack. So here I end up going into another tunnel just to search around the map, get a little more distance, and try to find survivors off guard. So I didn't realize that the turrets shut down temporarily after you emerge from a tunnel. Unfortunately, I tried to hit it but missed, so it burned me out of my power. It's also funny because after it burns you out, it kind of shuts down and it's like the turret itself is looking up at you. But I could quickly get my power back by going through the tunnels and just checking out another spot of the map. So I go to patrol one of the gens. I don't find anyone nearby. So here, Object of Obsession procs, so I know the Nicolas Cage is above me. I haven't hooked him yet, so I decided to go for him. Unfortunately for me, he set up a turret, and I tried to hit him, but he staggered. So I have him kind of trapped in this room. And I end up going for a regular hit on him, and it connects. And here I kind of messed up because I thought there was a window that goes out into the courtyard from that side, but there wasn't. So I ended up just following him. Alright, so I took down that breakable wall, and I go looking for him. I'm hoping to farm an extra stack of Play With Your Food here. But I end up running right into him, so I just knock him down and decide to take the hook and Grim Embrace stack. So I decided to use the tunneling system, and one of the other cool things about it is that you can mark an area on the map you want to go to, and it'll show you the quickest way to get there. So I happen to find 2 Ripleys on one gen, and I get to push both of them off of it, and I found the Ripley that I haven't hooked yet. So I decide to go after her. She places a trap on the pallet in the room, so instead of taking the stagger from that, I try to play around it using my power. Unfortunately, I'm still not very good with it at this point. It's very precise, and so it's easy to miss, but the distance for it is really strong, so I see that it's definitely a very good power. And ultimately, I get the down with a basic attack. At least I have the 4th Ripley down, and that allows me to get the 4th hook and my final Grim Embrace stack. So that locks up the gens for a short period of time, allowing me to also find my obsession and go for him. So I see where the Nicolas Cage is, and I decide to try and go to that location through the tunnels. Unfortunately, I didn't mark it beforehand, so I tried to get there the best way I could through the tunnel system and end up going to the wrong portal. So I assess the situation and decide to go back down to the correct tunnel that I wanted to, and I find the Ripley there with a turret waiting for me. Luckily for me, I'm able to destroy it before it can burn me out of my power, and I'm able to keep pursuing her. Here we have a really strong loop that I unfortunately have to just kind of keep chasing her through. And unfortunately, I thought she was going to fake the pallet, so I tried to go through and she stunned me. I also missed my tail attack here, which got her lots of distance. I had to break the pallet to continue. And that's another gen done. And so I keep pursuing. I mess up my tail attack here and suffer for it, losing my power. I decide to go back to the gen that I saw the 2 Ripleys on earlier, hoping that I can push them off of it if they got back on it. Which they did. And so I don't remember if I saw the Ripley that was on the gen, but I ended up chasing this one out and just going for that. I try to cut her off by going through the hallway, but she is still going through the classrooms. So I follow, and lo and behold, she quick and fires into a locker. Luckily, I figured that out and get the hook. I thought I heard another survivor, so I looked around and checked the locker. Unfortunately, that loses me time, and I lose the generator. I decide to go back and see if maybe the other Ripley is still there, but she's not. Instead, there's a turret waiting for me, and I managed to take it out without losing my power. At this point, the gens are on the other side of the map, so I use the tunnels to get there and figure out where the survivors are. One of the other really cool things about the tunneling system is that you can see footsteps above you. So that can definitely help you with tracking if you need to find a survivor. And so I find another Ripley, and I ended up pursuing her, and it turned out she was going for the unhook to try and save her teammate. Unfortunately for her, she didn't make it, and the other Ripley died on hook. So I tried to land a few more tail strikes here. Those miss. So I continue the chase, and in this room she vaults a pallet, and I'm able to hit her over that pallet with a kill strike. So here you see its strength in being able to hit over objects and at longer ranges. I tried to cancel my momentum here in the fall. I think it helped a little bit, but probably not too much since I hit that cage. And here I start trying to go for more tail strikes. The Ripley did a dead hard that didn't work because I missed. I had another tail strike, missed, but it looked like it should have hit. And there we go. Another tail strike, another down. So that's one more hook, but at this point I realize that I have to kind of focus on the gens before they all get done. I didn't have any hooks too close to me, so I tried to do the best that I could. Here I use the tunneling system again and try to go to the gens that are nearby. I start with the furthest one from me. No luck, but the gen does have progress on it, so I kick it. I go to the next one, find a turret, break it immediately, and see scratch marks, so I follow and find the Nicolas Cage. He dropped a turret. I thought that was going to activate, so I tried to break it. I couldn't because it wasn't activated. So here I try to chase him backwards to farm play with the food stacks. In doing so, I ended up losing him. But shortly after, I find him in the locker, which is good because that allows me to grab him and keep my play with your food stacks. Now I have 2 Ripleys to find. And luckily for me, I find them at the end of this corridor and go after both of them. I end up hitting one, breaking the turret in the process, and I decided to chase after the other one. I can't remember exactly why. I don't know if I just thought that the other one was on death mode. I narrowly avoid losing my power, get a tail strike off, which is good, and continue the chase. I see that the other Ripley is all the way at the other end of the map, so I decide to try and cut her off through the courtyard. I could use my power here, but I didn't think I had anywhere nearby that I could quickly access them, and the courtyard paid off. I managed to get this Ripley down and take her into the courtyard to hook. And that's another survivor out of the game. Kick the gen to regress it, and here the cage's object of obsession begins to work against them. I'm able to find where they're healing, and I take out the Ripley with a tail strike. I try to follow the cage to get another tail strike off, but unfortunately I'm too late. He gets that vault. So I go back in, break the pallet, and decide to take what I have, which is another dead Ripley to be hooked. And I figured if anything, I could probably find the cage with object. I go to the ground floor through the tunnels so that I can start looking for the hatch when it spawns. I get burned a little bit by one of the turrets there. So I start sweeping the hallways and checking the bathrooms first. Nothing there, so I continue checking the exit gate too. And then I hear it. But I realize that it's outside in the courtyard. I'm hoping I can get to it first. And I realize it's in the little corner area, and I manage to close it. So at this point I know I will probably win the game. I will find Nicolas Cage, his object of obsession will show me where he is. But I still patrol both doors because I haven't seen him yet. At this point, I think maybe he's around, so I decided to check a little more. Cage's object of obsession procced, so I was able to see that he was on the second floor. And I go to that area because I know that's where he was. If I don't see him right away, then I know that I should be able to find him shortly. He's not in the piano room. And so I do a little more patrolling. I know that he's probably going to go for this door, and there I see him again. And in the end, I decide to give the Nicolas Cage the gate. I try to signal to him with my tail attack that he can open it, and so he does. I give him the nodders too, and I'm off on my way. I go through the tunnel system again. Object, open door. I tried to do another tail attack, but I ended up missing. So he lets me get one off, and that's good contact. I nod and spin as he leaves. That was gameplay for the Alien. I hope you're all as excited as I am about it. Thank you so much for checking out my video. I hope you'll check out my other content as well, and have a great day.